Hello student, I am Swarajan, contract lecturer, NACA, GPT, Nizamabad. So let us recall what are the topics we are discussed in the last lecture. Let us recall the topics we are covered in the last lectures, that is construction and working of bridge rectifier, advantages and disadvantages of bridge rectifier. So in the bridge rectifier compared to the half wave and full wave rectifier, we are using here 4 diodes, constructed in a form of the bridge. So during the positive half cycles, diode D1 and D3 will be conduct, and during the negative half cycle, diode D2 and D4 will be conducting. So the current will be flow through the load resistance during the positive half cycle and during the negative cycles. So the sum of the currents flowing through the resistor RL is the pulsating DC voltage. So the advantages of um, the bridge rectifier is it doesn't require the center tapped full wave rectifier, and whereas the disadvantages of bridge rectifier is it requires the 4 diodes. So compared to the parameters of discussed in the last 3 lectures, that is half wave, full wave, center tapped full wave, and bridge rectifiers. So the peak inverse voltage is only will be changes compared to the center tapped full wave rectifiers. It is half of the center tapped full wave rectifiers, that is peak inverse voltage is Vm, and remaining all the parameters are equal into the center tapped full wave rectifiers, that is IDC is equal similar to Im by pi, and VDC is equal similar to Vm by pi, and IRMS is also similar, that IRMS Im by root 2, and ripple factor is also 0.482 for the center tapped and bridge rectifiers, and ripple frequency is also a 2f, and only the change is voltage regulation is, whereas in the center tapped is RF by RL, and whereas in the bridge rectifier is 2 RF by 2 2 RF by RL. So in the most of the time, in the all the electronic circuits or in applications, we will use the bridge rectifiers. Why? Because it requires the uh, it doesn't require the center tap, so cost of the circuit will be uh, changes, and the peak inverse voltage also be less than compared to the center tap. So even though we are using the four diodes, so it requires we will be using most of the time this bridge rectifier only. So let us discuss the of today's lectures. On the completion of this period, you would be able to know regulators and capacitor filters. So what is regulators? So that is we have to define the voltage regulation. So what is voltage regulation? The DC voltage from an ordinary power supply remains constant. So we already discussed in the first lecture of this unit, that is DC voltage from the ordinary power supply remains constant. So as long as AC mains voltage or load is unaltered. So here the voltage, the power supply remains constant as long as the AC mains voltage or load is unaltered. Then only we will get the constant supply. If the load current IDC is increased by decreasing the load resistance RL. Here, if the load current IDC is increased by decreasing the load resistance RL, there is greater voltage drop in power supply, and hence a smaller DC output voltage will be available. So reverse will be happen if the load current decreases. So here, if the load current is increased by decreasing the load resistance, here the load current is increasing and load resistance is decreasing. So V is equal to IR. By the equation we know that Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So here to get the constant DC voltage across the load, so if the current is increasing, so you have to decrease the or load resistance. Otherwise, if the load resistance is also increases, then V will be increases. So to maintain the constant voltage, if the load current is increasing, that means load value will be increases, then the load resistance should be decreases. So here that is the mentioned here is that if the load current ID is increased by decreasing the load resistance RL, there is a greater voltage drop in the power supply and hence a smaller DC output voltage will be available. Reverse will be happen if the load current decreases. Otherwise, if the load current also will be decreases and load resistance will be decreases, then the output voltage will be decreases. The variation of the output voltage with respect to the amount of load current drawn from the power supply is known as voltage regulation. Here, that is, we call it as a the variation of the output voltage with respect to the amount of load current drawn from the power supply is known as a voltage regulation. So that is the definition for the voltage regulators. So here we have the definition for this one. It is defined as the variation of the DC output voltage with change in the DC load current. That is, the percentage of regulation can be given by V no load. VNL means V no load minus VFL means V full load. V no load minus V full load by V full load into 100. Here, that is, VNL is the load voltage with no load current. Load voltage with no load current, and VFL is the load voltage with full load current. So here VNL is in shortly can be the no load voltage and full load voltage divided by full load into 100 is the percentage of voltage regulation. So here the ideal value of load regulation is 0. The ideal value of load regulation is 0. So here this ideal value, if you take this, there is a load regulation is 0. Lower is the percentage regulation, better is the performance of regulator. Lower is the percentage regulation, better is the performance of regulator. The graph of load current against the load voltage is called regulation characteristics of a power supply. Here, the graph of this load current with respect to this load voltage is known as the characteristics of the regulation characteristics of the power supply. So here this is shown in figure regulation characteristics. So here we are having there are two types of the voltage regulators. So before going to this one, just we define the definition of the voltage regulator. A device which maintains the output voltage constant irrespective of the load variations or changes in the input AC voltage is known as voltage regulator. So we know that one, that is, even though if there any load variations or in the AC main supply variation, the output voltage should not be varied. It should maintain the constant. Then only we can say it is a regulator and a voltage regulator. So a device which maintains the output voltage constant with irrespective of the load variations or changes in input AC voltage is known as voltage regulator. So basically there are two types of voltage regulators. One is series voltage regulator and shunt voltage regulators. So a series regulator is placed in series with the load. A series regulator is placed in series with the load. On the other hand, shunt regulator is placed in shunt with the load, in parallel with the load. Okay, that shunt regulator is placed in parallel with the load. Each type of regulator provides an output voltage that remains constant even the input voltage varies or the load current changes. So here in these two types of the regulators, the output voltage remains constant even if the input voltage varies with the or the load current changes. So in this types of regulators, we will use the Zener diode to maintain the constant output voltage. So that is, so later we will discuss the series type voltage regulator and shunt type voltage regulators, the types of circuit diagrams I will explain in the next lectures. So let us discuss, before going to the types of regulator circuits, we have to discuss about the filters. So filter circuits reduces the ripple voltage, therefore increases the average DC voltage. That is the filter circuits, which is used for the smoothing, where we are connecting in the RPS, regulator power supply. The first diagram is the AC main supply. After that one, it is rectifiers, and rectifier output is given to the filters, and filter output is given to the output this play to the regulator, and we'll get the constant DC. So here this filter is the circuit in between filters and regulators. That is the block diagram of we are discussed in the first lecture of this chapter. So here, need for filters. So let us discuss what is the need of this filter in power supplies or regulator power supplies. The output of a rectifier consists of a DC component and an AC component, which is known as the ripples. So the AC component is undesirable and must be kept away from the load. So for the supply, we should not, for the from the regulator output, we should not get the AC. So to have, we have to remove that one. So the output of rectifier consists of DC component and as well as AC components. The AC component is undesirable and must be kept away from the load. So we should not get the output in the output, that we should not get the AC component. So we have to remove that AC component from the load. A filter circuit is used to remove the AC component of rectifier output and to allow the DC component to reach the load. So this is the need of a filter, to remove the AC component from the output of rectifier and to allow the only DC component to the apply to the load. Obviously, a filter circuit should be connected between the rectifier and the load as shown in figure 5.5. Here, a filter circuit should be connected between the rectifier and the load as shown in figure 5.5. Here it is. So this is the filter circuit, which is applied to the output of this rectifier output and to the input of regulator. So this is connected in between the rectifier and the regulator. A filter circuit is generally a combination of inductors and capacitors. The filtering action of L and C depends upon the basic electrical properties. So in the filters, we will use either L and C components to filter the AC component, and depending on the electrical properties, we will construct the filters by using L and C. So this is the circuit. Just here it is having this is rectified output is the pulsating DC. So here this may be either from the full wave rectifier, either the center type or bridge rectifiers. Just consider this is a output of the full wave rectifier. This output is given to this filter, and this filter is connected. This filter component, this filter is removes the AC component. It provides only the DC component. So this is the output of the filter. V out, that is a pure DC we are taking across the load. So here I have to discuss what are the types of filter circuits. The commonly used filter circuits in the power supply circuits are listed below. Shunt capacitor filters. First one is shunt capacitor filter. Second one is series inductor filter. And third one is L section LC or inductor input filter. And the fourth one is pi section CLC or the capacitor input filter and CRC filter. So these are the different types of the filter circuits we are using to remove the AC component. And next one is filter circuit is also known as a smoothing circuit. So we already discussed that one. It is also known as a smoothing circuit which removes the ripples. The main function of the filter is to minimize the ripple content in the rectifier output. It removes the or like almost it not minimize it almost it removes the ripples. The ideal inductor acts as a short circuit for DC. So if we are consider using the capacitor, either can be in filters can be utilized the inductor or the capacitors or the L section or the pi section or the CRC. We have the different types. So if you are using the ideal inductor, it will be acting as a short circuit for DC. Therefore, it cannot be placed in shunt across the load. So, if you are using the inductor, it should not be placed in a shunt across the load. If you place it as a shunt across the load, it will be remove the DC component. So, we should not place in shunt with the load across the load. Otherwise, the DC will be shorted. Hence, in a filter circuit, the inductor is always connected in series with the load. So, this is the reason why we are connecting load inductor in series with the load. If at all, if you are connecting the inductor in shunt with the across the load, that the load will be shunting the entire DC to the ground. Then it will be, it will get the zero only at the output. Similarly, the ideal capacitor acts as open circuit for DC. So it blocks the DC and therefore it cannot be connected in series with the load. It is always connected in parallel with the load. Okay. So here, whereas the capacitor, if you take the capacitor, it is always acting as an open circuit for DC. Whereas inductor is always acting as a short circuit for the capacitor in the DC. So when your inductor is connected in shunt, then it will be shunting the entire DC component. Otherwise, the capacitor will be acting as an open circuit for the DC. So it always blocks the DC component. So therefore, it cannot be connected in series. If you are connected in series, then it will be open circuit. So then we cannot be reach the output voltage across the load. So it again, it's always the capacitor should be connected in parallel or shunt in with the load only. So the inductor used in filter is also called as a choke. So the another name for the filter which we are the another name for the inductor in which we are using in the filter is known as also can be called it as choke. So let us discuss the operation of the rectifier using capacitor filters. So here we are having the types in the types of filters, shunt capacitors, series capacitors. So capacitor filter is nothing but shunt capacitor. So that is always the capacitor should be connected in shunt only. If you are connecting in series, it will be open circuit. Otherwise, it's always you should be connect the capacitor should be connected in shunt only. So here the operation of rectifier using capacitor filters. So the filter is designed with the capacitor. So here it is the circuit details of the capacitor filter. So here this is a rectifier output we are applying across these capacitors. This capacitor is connected in shunt with the across load. Okay. So generally the circuit, entire circuit, this one is the rectifier circuit up to here it is. This is the transformer main supply. Let us take one annotation. So here this is circuit is there. Here it is transformer. This is 230 volts AC 50 hertz one single phase AC supply. And this is a transformer, center tapped transformer. Here we are taking the center tapped full wave rectifier. So here this is a diode D1 and D2. The output of this rectifier output is connected to the filter, which is connected in shunt across the load. So let us discuss this. So this circuit shows the full wave rectifier with the shunt capacitors. The filter uses a single capacitor. Here the filter uses single capacitor connected in parallel with the load resistance RL. In order to minimize the ripples in the output of this rectifier, the capacitor C used in the filter circuit is quite large. The value of this capacitor should be very large, in the order of tens of microfarads. Okay. So here the type of the capacitors we are using maximum is the electrolyte capacitors, which is polarized, generally used in the filters. So here we are using the electrolyte capacitor. Type of the capacitor is electrolyte capacitors. So let us discuss the working of this one. Case 1. So immediately when the power is turned on, the capacitor C gets charged through a forward biased diode D1 to Vm during the first quarter cycle of the rectified output voltage. So here during the whenever we are power on, the hard power is turned on, the capacitor C gets to charge through the forward bias of diode D1 to the Vm during the first quarter cycle of the rectified output voltage. And next let us take the case 2. In the next quarter cycle of from pi by 2 to pi, the input voltage falls below the capacitor voltage Vm. As a result, the diode D1 becomes reverse bias and stops conducting. So the capacitor starts discharging through RL and supplies the load current. It discharges to point B as shown in figure C. Here C. So here, suppose if you take this one is a output of this rectifier. This is the output of this rectifier. And is showing the dotted lines. So whenever you are considering the half of this cycle, so during this entire cycle, this is the output. So whenever you are power on, immediately of the power on of this circuit, then the capacitor will be immediately charges to this maximum voltage due to the diode D1. So then it is charges to the Vm voltage. But after some time, the capacitor will be discharges slowly. So then it will be reaches the point B, that is from the pi by 2 to pi. During the diode, in the next quarter cycle from pi by 2 to pi, the input voltage falls below the capacitor voltage Vm. So here the input voltage, what is happening here, it is the input voltage falls. Here this input voltage is falling below the Vm. So here as a result, the diode D1 becomes reverse bias and stops conducting. So the capacitor starts discharging through the RL and supplies the load current. So here, after reaching this maximum point voltage, the input voltage is falling below. So here that is this maximum below the maximum voltage. So it is, if it is less than this maximum Vm voltage, then the capacitor, the diode D1 will become as a reverse bias. So the capacitor slowly discharges to the voltage point of B. So capacitor starts discharging through RL and supplies the load current. It discharges to the point B as shown in figure C. And case 3. At point B, the input voltage exceeds the capacitor voltage, making D2 forward bias. This charges the capacitor back to Vm at point C. So here, after reaching this point capacitor B, so what will happen? This voltage, capacitor voltage again will be becomes charging. Why? Because the input voltage exceeds the capacitor voltage. Here, this input voltage is exceeding the capacitor voltage, making D2 forward bias. So here up to reaching this one voltage point B, this input voltage is exceeded. So then the diode D2 becomes forward bias and the capacitor will be charged. After reaching this point, again this input voltage falls below the maximum voltage Vm. Then again capacitor will be discharges. Then again it will be above the input voltage. Then capacitor will be charged through the diode D1. Like this process is continue. This charges capacitor back to Vm at point C. So here this A B is the capacitor ditches. A to B is the discharging path and B to C is the capacitor charging path. So and C to D discharging and afterwards again it will be charging. So this process will be continuous. So let us discuss the case 4. At point C, diode D2 stops conducting and capacitor starts discharging at point C. Here at point C. Here D1 is forward bias and D2 is reverse bias and this forward bias. So what is happening here? It is again at point C, the diode D2 stops conducting and capacitor starts discharging through RL and supplies the load current. So here at point C, the diode becomes reverse bias D2. So the capacitor is discharging. At point D, it discharges to point D as shown in figure C. At this point, the diode D1 conducts to a charge capacitor back to Vm. After it reaching, again the D1 will becomes conducting. So again it will be charging. This process is repeated again and again and the output waveform becomes A, B, C, D. So this output waveform will be looking like up to from here it is like this. Only this dotted above these dotted lines. Yeah. Figure 5.6 shows the load voltage variation with AC voltage. It is obvious from the figure 5.6 see that nearly the constant DC voltage appears across RL at all times. So from the figure, we will be observed that more than it is almost nearer to the DC values compared to these ripples. So most of the time the ripples are reduced. So the discharging time constant tau is equal to RL into C is a large, usually 100 times more than charging time. So here the discharging time is very large compared to this charging time. Hence the condenser does not have sufficient time to discharge appreciably. Due to this fact, the voltage of condenser C decreases slightly. The diodes are not conducting for the entire half cycle. The diodes currents are shown in the figure. So here D1 is not directly contained during the entire half cycle. Here the diodes are not conducting for the entire half cycle. The diodes currents are shown in figure. When the capacitor is discharging through the load resistance RL, both the diodes are non-conducting. The capacitor supplies the load current. So this is a working of capacitor filters. So where we are connecting the capacitor is in shunt with the load at the output of the rectifiers. So in this one, during the positive half cycle, during the first cycle of the input, only the first quarter cycle the D1 will be conducting and the capacitor will be charges to the input voltage Vm. Once it reaches the Vm voltage, the diode D1 will be become reverse bias and the capacitor will be discharges to the point of level at where the diode D2 becomes forward bias. So when diode D2 becomes forward bias and the capacitor will be again charges to the point from point B to point C. And once it reaches the capacitor's point maximum voltage Vm, again the D2 will become reverse bias and then D1 will be conducting. So again the capacitor will be discharges. So this process will be repeated and continuous again which removes the ripples, and it almost near it will it produce the output across the load almost the constant DC value. So these are the topics we are discussed in the today's lecture, that is regulator, which is regulator is defined which is provides the constant DC output loss irrespective of the load variations. So types of regulators we discuss: shunt type regulators, series type regulators, inductor input filters, capacitor input filters, CRC filters. Inductor input filter is also known as L section or the LC filters, and capacitor input filter is also known as a pi section or the CLC filters. The capacitor is always connected in shunt with the across the load. Why? Because it allows acts as an open circuit for the DC, and whereas the inductor is always connected in series with the load, by because it will be acting as a short circuit for the DC when we are connecting in the shunt. So the frequently asked questions in this lectures: define voltage regulation, list the types of regulators. We have the two types of the regulators: series type regulators and shunt type regulators, and explain the need of filters. So filters are used for the smoothing of the rectified outputs and to produce the constant DC voltage, and list the types of filters and explain the operation of filter circuit using capacitor filter. So these are the questions maybe having chance to occur in your exam point of view in the today's lecture class. Okay. So let us discuss a small questions on this today's lectures. The percentage of regulation factor becomes low when the output voltage regulation becomes better. So here the percentage of regulation factor becomes low when the output voltage regulation becomes better. That is, answer is true. And dash are used in power supplies to eliminate ripples or fluctuation and produces constant DC voltage at the output. Dash are used in power supplies to eliminate ripples or fluctuations and produce constant DC voltage at output. Filters, transformers, rectifiers 1 and 2 corrects are corrects. So to produce a constant DC output voltage, we will use only the filters. And in practice, let us discuss. In practice, the output from the diode rectifier has the output from the diode rectifier has AC component only, DC component only, AC plus DC component, none of the above. So the output diode rectifiers whatever we discussed only with the diodes, half wave rectifier, full wave rectifiers. So the output of the rectifier is not only the DC, it is also consist of AC component. That is, it consists of ripples also along with the DC. So the option is AC plus DC component. In case of a C filter, capacitor filter, the AC is not allowed to pass to the load by offering it high impedance, offering it low impedance, short circuiting the AC component, open circuiting the AC component. So here just now we discussed in the case of C filter, that is a capacitor filter, AC is not allowed to pass to the load. So whenever you are connecting the capacitor is in series, that is acting as an open circuit, and DC will not be allowed, but AC will be allowed. So here to block the AC component, we have to short circuiting the AC component. So that then only the capacitor will be allows only the DC. In case of inductors, it is should be connected in series. If you are connecting in shunt, then it will be allows the AC component also. A capacitor filter or C filter can be used in a rectifier by connecting it A capacitor filter or the cell filter can be used in a rectifier by connecting in parallel with the load, in series with the load, in parallel with the supply, in series with the supply. Always we are connecting filters only with across the load only. We will not be connected across the supply. So the option 3 C and D is not, we will be in the answer. So here option A, B across the load in series with the load or in parallel with the load we are. So capacitor will be connected in parallel and inductor will be connected in series with the load. So option is A. Which of the following are true about the capacitor? Which of the following are true about capacitor filters? It is also called as a capacitor outer output filter. It is electrolytic. It is connected in parallel to the load. It helps in storing the magnetic energy. So, which of the following are true about capacitor is also a electrolytic. That is also true. And it is connected in parallel to the load. It is also correct. So, either B and C both are correct. The rectifier may be a full, here given the explanation also. The rectifier may be full wave or half wave rectifier. Whatever the type of rectifier, the capacitors are usually electrolytic, even though they are large in size. So, if the capacitor size is large, we are connected in the output of the rectifier is electrolytic capacitor. So these are the topics we are discussed in the lectures. So today in the lectures we discuss previous lectures what is we are discussed, recall the last topic, that is bridge rectifiers and construction when working and the waveforms of the bridge rectifiers and the parameters of the bridge rectifier, comparison of the bridge rectifiers and half wave full wave rectifiers. And we discuss what is the need of regulations, what are the types of the regulators, and what is the definition for the regulators. So definition for the regulators is the percentage of regulation can be calculated by using the V no load minus V full load by V full load into 100%. This is a very important equation to find out the voltage regulation. And we discuss the types of regulators, series type voltage regulator and shunt type voltage regulators. So in series regulator is placed in series with the load. So this type of regulators we are designed with the Zener diode. So the diode will be connected in series with the load, whereas in shunt type regulators connected in shunt with the load. So and we discuss what is the filter circuit. So filter is used to smoothing the output of the rectifiers to smooth, which is connected in between the rectifier and the voltage regulator. So we have the discussed the types of filters, shunt capacitor filter, series inductor filter, inductor input filter, which is also known as the LC or the L section filters, and capacitor input filter, which is also known as CLC or the pi section filters, and CRC filters. And we are discussed the working of the capacitor filters, which is connected in shunt across the load at the in between the output of this uh, rectifier and load. So we are connecting in shunt with the load. So during the positive half cycle, the capacitor will be charges, and this during the first cycle. So immediately when the power is 1, so during immediately when the power is turned on, the capacitor C gets charged through the forward bias diode D1 to Vm during the first quarter cycle of the rectified output voltage. So that is when it immediately power on, the capacitor is charged to the Vm voltage to the diode D1. After one, the input voltage is below this Vm voltage, so the capacitor will be discharges through the diode D1, D2. Then again, after reaching this voltage, then capacitor is greater than this load, the capacitor potential is less than this Vm voltage. So then again, the capacitor will be charges through the diode D1. Then once it reaches, again it reaches the maximum voltage. Vm, then again it is discharges through the diode D1. Then again it is charging. So this process is repeating and you will get the pulsating DC. Maximum the ripple is removed in this one. It is almost nearly equal to the DC value.